Hello and welcome to one of my transcription explanation videos. I am the scribe of Sirkles, and if you've seen one of these videos before or are familiar with my script, you can go ahead and skip forward and get to the design transcription itself, where I read the artwork letter by letter using this script. But if you're not familiar with the script or just want to hear me ramble for a bit, let's go ahead and get into how to use the Sirkles key. So, this is set up in a grid. You'll notice we have rows and we have columns. And these rows are determined by the letter stems. So there are 4 different letter stems. There is a deep divot up in the top row, and that deep divot is more than 50% of a circle, like a horseshoe or an omega. So that's this one here. And then there's a shallow divot stem in the 3rd row down here, and that shallow divot is like a bite taken out of a cookie, 50% or less of a circle. Then we have our completed circle stems in the 2nd row and in the bottom row. And this 2nd row stem is a completed circle, but it's inside the word circle. Whereas the bottom row, it's on the line of the word circle. And that can be anywhere on the line. It doesn't have to be centered like shown, or that inside the word circle can be kind of more towards the middle, but just make sure you can tell where its position is, because the reading order for this script is bottom counterclockwise, like a time traveler going back in time. So, start at the bottom, go counterclockwise, like 6 o'clock going around the clock. So, that is the reading order and the letter stems. Now that is how you get in the rows. Now to get the columns, we have dot modifiers and we have line modifiers. And that fine print up here matters. So these dots, they count at whatever letter they're closest to, whereas the lines, they count where they end on a letter stem. So where they connect and stop on the letter stem, which is again that black bit of our letters, so things are color-coded. This blue one is the word circle, the black line is the letter stem. So if a line were to end on that letter stem, it would count for a line modifier, but if it goes through the letter stem, it doesn't count. So this line going through the letter stem doesn't count on the letter stem, but it does count on the vowel. So let's go down and talk about vowels now that we've talked about the dot modifiers, line modifiers, and letter stems. Vowels are these little guys, and they look similar to dot modifiers. The biggest difference being dot modifiers are filled in, or vowels, they're open in the middle. So an A is outside the word circle, and it is the only thing entirely outside the word circle. Everything else is somewhat touching or connected or inside the word circle. And our centered vowels, the I's, E's, and U's, are centered either on the line of the word circle, or they are inside the word circle, but they're centered inside the consonant stem. So that's what this shows. This shows what a B stem would be with a vowel on it, an O, an E, or an A. Or this would be a J stem with the O, the E, and the A, so on and so forth. And then the difference between the I's and the U's are these lines. So this green line going towards the center of the word circle is what makes an I an I. A U has a line going away from the center of the word circle. So if this is the word circle, the I goes towards it, the U goes away from it, and similarly here, I, U. And that's relative to the word circle. So, not the sentence circle or anything else. It's relative to the word circle. So, sentence circle. Sometimes you can put a sentence circle around your word circle if you so choose, especially if you have punctuation, because that is where the punctuation marks go. They're all noted here. And a sentence circle, it can have these decorative divots to kind of fill an empty space between words, so long as you can tell that, you have a sentence circle with a word circle. You could sneak in a secret word in the sentence circle if you wanted, but that is generally, not something you would expect people to read. And then there's this start marker, which is optional. If you have the reading order in the typical bottom counterclockwise fashion on a design that will be oriented bottom with a top and a bottom, you don't need your start marker. You can put that there if it's something that'll spin, like a sticker, or if it's something that will, have multiple kind of start places. If you're writing a poem or something, you can use the start marker as a bit of a roadmap. I tend to not use a start marker when possible because most of my designs are used as tattoos, which there's a person attached to a tattoo and they'll tell you where to start and which direction is up or down. So yeah, the last bit is this letter stacking junk. stack. And this is complicated. This makes a lot more sense in practice, and if I use letter stacking in the design, I'll go more into this in the specific design. Otherwise, the quick and dirty is letters in the same row can be stacked. That means they have the same letter stem. You read thin to thick, and same thickness means same letter. So you don't need to double up the modifiers. If you have like a double L, you don't need 6 dots, because an L has 3 dots. It's just you have 2 of the same completed circle, like a double circle. That's an L. If you were to write an L and a J, then you need one line with the 3 dots by it to be thinner, and then the J to be thicker, because you read thin to thick. Vowels are read after consonants, so this would be a B before the O, E, or A. This would be a J read before the vowel, so on and so forth. And a slash through a vowel, so like not a line modifier, not connecting to anything else, but just like a little hash line through our vowel, moves it up 1 letter in the stack. So that is letter stacking, and letter stacking is tricky. If you'd like to learn more about letter stacking, you can read the full guide document here, or you can see the video tutorial here, and I go more in depth as far as the different ways different things can look in that video tutorial. And if you're more interested about the history and development of the script, these are the presentation slides me and Lauren give at panels at conventions and stuff, where we talk about the history and development of the script, as well as its use on Doctor Who. Most people will recognize this script from Doctor Who, but this is actually something from a couple of nerds in high school that Doctor Who has used. So big difference there. This is not something we took from the show. This is something the show got from us. So it's free for anybody to use, even commercially, so the show didn't step on our toes or anything. It's just really cool to say that, yeah, our silly little circle language is what the BBC has used to represent circular Gallifreyan, the language of the Time Lords on Doctor Who. But that being said, it's not official or canon. It is just, something some nerds made that the show has used, which is a big deal. But I mean, the show's also used like dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are cool. They're not a thing from Doctor Who. They're a thing that Doctor Who has used. So yeah, this Sirkles script is what the Doctor Who show has used as Gallifreyan. So yeah, that's the legalese, the technical history and stuff. There's screenshots and stuff in the presentation. If you're interested, just check that out. And then I have, of course, some useful contact and links. That's my email. Feel free to email me with questions. Then shermansplanet.com is Lauren's main site, where there's more information about what they've been doing, as well as information on Gallifreyan there. And then, of course, my Etsy, where I have all of the different options as far as custom stuff I can make for you with the Sirkles. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the design transcription for the specific design of this video. See ya in a bit. This design is a bunch of names, all as their own little circle. So right now they're in line next to what name they say, and they all have little initials on them. So you see how there's these kind of thicker rings here? These thicker rings hold the initials. Otherwise, the main name is in the bigger part of the circle. And this little guy here is our start and rotation marker, which tells you which direction to start reading, and it also allows you to rotate these designs any which way and still be able to translate them, because you can figure out where to start. So you're welcome to mix, match, arrange these designs however you like, and they will still be fully legible. So yeah, let's go ahead and get to reading them. Oh, I should also talk about overlaps. So this outer line, this thick one, can be interrupted and removed as much as you like. It is just the inner ones that are necessary for translating it. So if you're going to overlap something, overlap them and erase that thicker line. Kind of like this sort of a thing, where you can do a little overlap, and erase them. But yeah, okay, let's get to reading. So, here's our first name. Starting with the start marker, our first name starts at the bottom with a T, shallow divot, no modifiers, an O, little guy inside the word circle, and then 1, 2, 3 lines on the end. So Tom, and then the first initial has 3 dots and a full circle, so that's an L, and then a dot, a period, and then 3 dots on a deep divot for the D. So Tom, LD, well, L.D. Then we have Daniel, deep divot with 3 dots is a D, A outside the word circle, and N has 1 line on it here, and the I has a line going inwards, and E is right on the line of the word circle, and then the L is a lot like a D, but with a full circle rather than a deep divot. So D-A-N-I-E-L, dot, Deep divot with no modifiers is a B, so it's a lot like a D, but without any dots. This is another B here, just like this B, because it's Marcel B, there's the B dot. Starting here, M, 1, 2, 3 lines, just like the M in Tom. A, outside the word circle, just like the A in Daniel. R is a shallow divot, like the T, with 1, 2, 3 dots. Then a C has 1, 2, 3, 4 dots. And E can also be centered right inside the consonant. So an E is centered, meaning it is on the line of the word circle, as opposed to outside or inside. Or it's centered inside the consonant, like this, as opposed to outside the word circle or on the line. So C, E, and then 3 dots on the L, and then there's the dot B. And then for Stephane, we have this shallow divot, just like the R, but it has 1, 2, 3 lines on it. So that is the S. Then this shallow divot has nothing on it and is the T. E, right on the line of the word circle. 2 lines on the P. 2 lines on the H. A, outside the word circle, just like that A. And then an N, full circle with an E in the middle. And again, an N has 1 line, just like this 1 line on the N in Daniel. Then we have Raymond. Starting at the bottom, shallow divot, 1, 2, 3 dots is the R. The A is still attached and within this letter stem's kind of space in line with it, and that means you read the consonant before the vowel, even though this vowel is lower and more centered. So R before the A, because the A is attached to the R. R-A. Continuing around, this is actually just a bunch of lines on the M, and our next letter is this Y, a full circle with 2 dots. So Y. Then we have an M, 1, 2, 3 lines on it. The O attached to it like a bead on a string. And then we have this tricky letter. It's a deep divot, a lot like a D, but it has 1, 2, 3, 4 dots. And that 4 dot letter is an ND. And then we have 1, 2, 3 dots on the L, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 dots on the C. So Raymond, LC. And this LC is done the same way as this LC here. And Marie's name, and this name, we start at the bottom. Here's 1, 2, 3 lines on the M. A, outside the word circle. R, 3 dots. I, line going inwards. E. And then a triple line is a hyphen, so the hyphen is between these 2 words. Bottom of it's here. 1 line on the N. The O attached to it like a bead on a string, like this O on the M here. And then we have this E. I made it slightly bigger than the other E's, just because it needs to have these 2 hashes on it, which are the umlaut on the E. And then we have 3 dots on the L here, another 3 dots on that L, and then an actual E at the end. So that would be the Noelle. And then we have a period or a dot, and then the L and C together. And then, last but not least, we have Stephane, N. 1, 2, 3 lines on the S, T, shallow divot, and then the E, centered, PH as 1 dot, A, and then an N, 1 line on it, and an E, right inside that N. So Stephane, and then the M has 1, 2, 3 lines. So, yeah. So, I made the 2 Stephanes very different, just because I wanted to make them look different, because they're very different names. So, yeah, I'm quite happy with how different these 2 look, especially with the PH here, as opposed to the P and the H here, because you can do it as a P and an H, or a PH. So, yeah, these are the 2 different Stephanes, and yeah, let's go ahead and end that video here. I hope you like it.